Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Hello and welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast with me, George Swift. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but above all else to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget, subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. Well, we are still in this thing together. Wow, it's been a tough few weeks, maybe even more for some of you out there. Some of you got hit hard straight out of the gate, and for others, it's been a slower, more grueling battle. Either way, you are listening to this, you are still standing, you are still in the game, you are still in the fight. And I'm aware that it may be taking its toll on you. Just looking across my members, my 80 plus members from startup businesses, maybe 10, 20, 30 grand, all the way through to businesses doing multiple millions in turnovers. I have seen recently a little bit of fatigue starting to show itself, a little bit of tiredness, just tiredness of the situation, tiredness of the battle, the fight, maybe even the tiredness of the financial worries, just the tiredness of being locked up and not being able to get outside and do some of the usual day-to-day things. The tiredness of seeing, as beautiful as I'm sure they are, the same 1, 2, 3 or 4 faces in your life and not meeting new people, not getting that energy off of meeting new people, not being able to necessarily get out there and do new business the way you want to, do your networking the way you would choose to. So I get it. I've seen a little bit of fatigue creeping in across the club, and therefore I'm sure you out there also may be possibly starting to feel a little bit of that fatigue as well. The good news is I genuinely believe we are turning the corner on this thing. There will be life after Corona. There will be a new normal. We keep hearing about this new normal, and most people seem to think of it as being a negative thing, that somehow it will be a normal without stuff. I truly believe we're going to be stronger because of what we've gone through here as small business entrepreneurs. I truly believe we'll be more resilient. I believe that the lockdown, as it continues, as people get out of their fear and their anxieties and their worries, and they start to normalize within this very not normal situation, that people are starting to evaluate and reevaluate their businesses, their life choices. And I think that can only be a good thing, even though it's come about from a very bad thing. And I appreciate you may be going through some struggles right now in business. I thought I would finish the week strong. I would try and give you a chance to re-energize, to re-engage with your business over the weekend, so you can come back out on Monday, all guns blazing, and deal with whatever comes your way. I would like you, if you're willing, able, I would like you to just take a few moments and just re-engage with your business, re-engage with why you set the goals you set at the beginning of this year. Remember the optimism that many of us felt as we turned 2020. You weren't wrong. It wasn't a lie. It really did feel like it was going to be a good year. It really did feel like it was going to be a good decade. And you know what? It's not over yet. The goals that you put in place just a handful of months ago will still be valid the other side of this. Yes, there might be some challenges to overcome. There may be some obstacles. You may have to change tactics and strategies a little bit, but the goals you set out for yourself are still valid. The vision you have for your business is still valid. It's there to be had. It's still there to be played for. As long as you keep stepping up, as long as you keep stepping forward, as long as you keep regrouping when you get knocked down, you can lick your wounds, you can retreat for a day, 2 days, you can take a week off if you need to. Get yourself back in the game, pick yourself up, and as long as you are still standing there and you're still swinging on the other side of this thing, you still have that vision to play for. You still have those goals to go for. So just take a moment and remind yourself, what were the core goals that you set out at the beginning of 2020? What is it you wanted to achieve in your business, but also what did you want to achieve in your life? What was important to you back then? What were you excited about back then? Take the time to really re-engage with those goals. If you do a vision board, take some time out, daily, certainly weekly, and just re-engage with that vision board. If you don't do vision boarding, then just get your goals out. And if you don't do goal setting, then just remind yourself what you're optimistic about at the beginning of this year. Remind yourself what you're excited about at the beginning of this year. Frequently come back to the longer term picture. Come back to why you do what you do, why you go through what you go through, why it's so important that you fight your way out of this situation, and why, even though it's been tough and it might still be tough, and you know what, there may be still some more tough times to come, why it's so important that you ride these punches out, that you keep moving forward, that you keep your head, that you keep your heart, that you stay in the game. I want you just to project forward a year and, think about where you'll be in a year, looking back at this thing, looking back at these times, the conversations we'll be having, whether it's in board meetings, whether it's at our networking groups, over a beer, watching a game of football. Imagine looking back and thinking, shit, did we really go through that this year? And you know what? You got through it. You got through it. You were resilient. You were tenacious. You fought your way out. You didn't roll over. You didn't quit. I want you to imagine now going forward, 3 years into the future, and imagine where you'll be then. And I want you to imagine looking back and seeing this time as just a small amount of time that we had to go through in order to get ourselves where we inevitably still end up. I want you to then maybe think 5 years, even 10 years in the future, and realize just how small a blip this will be as we look back, as we compare it to all of the great work that we've done up until this thing and all of the amazing things that we still have to do. The truth of the matter is, we can enjoy the good times and we can reward ourselves for the good times, feel good about the good times. But ultimately, what creates our success as human beings, what creates our success as business owners, is how we respond in the hard times, how we react in difficult times, how we didn't give up, how we showed up, the tenacity. A huge part of long-term success is still being in the game, still fighting, still operating at a high level. What you're going through right now, what all of us are going through right now, is a test. And it's a test like many of us have never gone through before. But it's a test that if we triumph, it's a test that if we win, that we will be stronger, we'll be better for it, we'll be more tenacious, we'll have more of an understanding of what we're truly capable of. For many of us, our futures are being shaped by what's going on right now, not in negative terms, but in positive terms. The realizations that we're having, the reflections that we are doing, that the reassessments that are going on right now across the globe as people start to question the way they live their life, the way they want to live their life, the choices that they've made and the ones they're making, the ones they will make. Right now, even though it's tough, right now, even though it's hard, when we look back 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years in the future, we'll realize that actually so much of what we have there that's positive, that's good, so much of it came from this time. The strength we found, the courage we found, the bravery we found, the resilience we found, the creativity that we found, the bonds we made, the communities that we connected with, all of these things will shape who we are moving forward. And I genuinely believe in positive and in stronger ways. Take this reflection into the weekend. Take the rest. Have the break if you need it. If you need to fight on, if you need to dig in, do that as well. I'll be waiting for you on Monday. We'll do this all over again. Together, we will get through this. We hear it over and over again. And I genuinely believe as long as we stay in the game, stay in the fight, as long as we keep showing up for ourselves and for each other, that really will be true. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. And until then, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, but stay in the game.